Hello and welcome. I'm Sage,
And I'm Karis, and this is
the Cousin Coven podcast. We're cousins, witches, and feminists, and we have some thoughts.
In fact, we have a lot of thoughts, and we want to share them with you.
On today's episode, we're going to talk about New England states that are now exonerating colonial era witches. For the crystal segment, Desert Rose, and book recommendation, You Were Born for This by Chani Nichols. And we're going to explore our own personal astrology charts.
Please remember that everything we say is our own personal opinion, and it might not resonate with you. That's okay. We're all on our own journeys.
Today's hot topic is New England states are exonerating colonial era witches.
So you found this article, and I know it's been kind of all over the place, but some of the New England states are exonerating witches that were convicted in the 1600s. The main states that we're seeing this happen are Connecticut, Massachusetts, and then there's some bills pending in New Hampshire as well.
I think this is, it's cool that we're going back and kind of admitting, okay, we didn't do right here. But I find it interesting that some people are against this. For example, in the article that I had looked at here, it says State Representative Doug Dubitsky says he doesn't believe in witches.
He also said that there are plenty of people in this day and age who think there is such a thing as witchcraft, he said in a phone interview, but I don't happen to be one of them. Well, Doug, we have some news for you. So this is his clarification that, you know, has been prompted by his objections to this bill that's currently before the Connecticut state legislature.
And apparently, somehow, if, the people in the legislature or residents want to go back and maybe right some wrongs, it's like he's kind of looking at it like, well, why? Why are we doing this?
Right, but like in this article even touches on it, but like families out there, they want closure. They know that their families or their family members, they were convicted of something and it was very unjust. Like, I mean, how many of these women were killed? And probably they were all either Christians or just people who didn't want to follow the Christian faith, or whatever Protestant at that time I think was what was kind of rampant in the colonies. But these people were just convicted because one of their neighbors were pissed at them and turned them in, and they were killed for that. Like, these witch hunts were such bullshit, and those people want it recognized for their families.
Yeah, definitely. Like people who are descendants of the ones that had been unjustly convicted, people who are maybe trying to go back through their family tree, figure out where they come from. It would give you a sense of relief maybe to know that your ancestor can be exonerated over something they were accused for that I'm sure was horrific at the time.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the co-sponsors of the bill said that the main motivation is to acknowledge that there was injustice of the state's puritanical witch hunts, and that basically he knows that 300 years ago women were targeted. Men were in control and they were using their power to take women's rights away. In fact, he goes on to say it was prevalent then and it remains prevalent now, which is the truth.
And there is also some points that this article makes out of whether this is the best use of lawmakers' time in this current environment where there are still many issues against women. And should we be worrying more about the here and now as opposed to 300 years ago? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think, in my personal opinion, that there's a lot of stuff in the past that is horrific. I am not one of those proud to be an American, America did no wrong people. And I think that we have a lot to answer for in the past. I think acknowledging the past and righting the wrongs of the past or redressing them is the only way that we can grow in the future, because we see even, his statement about the fact that like women are targeted then and women were targeted then and women are targeted now. That's true. We're repeating our same fucking mistakes over and over. So I think if we look back at our past and we address the things that we fucked up so badly, I mean, we have a lot to atone for, right? Slavery, just racial injustice in general.
Oh, sure. Of course, everything.
Right, like, everything America has been built on was kind of a shit show. So, I think that, like, if we take a look at the past and we're like, "Holy shit, we fucked up here," and we address those and redress those wrongs, and we take responsibility for the shit that we, messed up so badly, then we can start to heal and see a better way forward because we acknowledge what we did was wrong.
Yeah, and I think too, along with that sentiment that was expressed, that why can't they do all of the things? I mean, there's not only just one bill that's presented or reviewed at a time. Like, they could do past and present and future.
Right. I think that
That's what their job is.
exactly. I mean, I think just because you're saying, "Oh, this one event happened in the past and like we should exonerate these people," that doesn't mean that you can't focus on the fact that, Roe v. Wade was overturned now and women are, being denied bodily autonomy. Like you can do two
Yeah,
things.
100%. Yes, yes. Exactly.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think it's a good idea. I don't think that it is something that really impacts the witchy community per se. Like, I don't think probably any of these women were actual witches. I mean, they could have been, but
They could have been, yeah, but
right,
probably not
probably not.
likely because anything, that you did that wasn't what everyone else was doing made you a witch. You must be following Satan and you are his mistress.
Yes, you independent woman, you must die. So I mean I think that just generally while it doesn't impact the witchy community, I think it does a lot for America. I think it does a lot to say that we can take responsibility and say that we did something wrong because there isn't a lot of that. There isn't a lot of accountability and personal responsibility.
But see, I have a little bit of trouble with like the wording sometimes because it's not like, I mean, we personally were not there.
That's
And
that's true.
we just have to acknowledge our past, that in our past, some of our ancestors, or whatever word you would want to insert there, our people who came before us didn't have the best clarity and understanding on some things that impacted the future generations, so that we are with the effects of many things. I'm just speaking generally. Like in many things we will be impacted with because of what happened before us, but
Mhm.
it's not, I don't know. I mean, it's not, I don't think it's fair to say us because it wasn't us, but it was us.
Right. I mean,
If that makes
I
sense.
see what you're saying, but I see it as I say we because one, everything that I have now is a result of what happened in the past. Like where I am today or where other people are today is a result of all the things that came before and where our country is, what we have built it, and the nation that we are is because of all of these past decisions and all this past bullshit that we did. I mean, fuck, women didn't get the right to vote. Our grandma was alive when women couldn't even actually vote.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that seeing the past and like where we came from and taking responsibility because it's gotten us to where we are now. The good and the bad, right? But mostly bad. Sorry. And I'll even go a step farther and say that like we'll say Connecticut for instance because this is where the person doesn't who doesn't want to pardon those witches or those accused as witches. Actually, let me just pause. I want to first say I'm curious to read the actual bill because I'm wanting to know if they're being pardoned because they were falsely accused or if they're being pardoned because there's nothing wrong with being a fucking witch, if that's the case. So I'm interested in that part.
I mean, maybe either one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. It would be nice to know the language. But I think bottom line it's something like they can't quote unquote prove, and also nothing that was an issue.
Yeah. Yeah. But I am also interested to know why this person in today's age who is against pardoning these accused witches, I'm interested to know why he thinks that a state or a government body shouldn't go back in time and address something that they knew was wrong. I mean, is it because maybe it opens up an entire can of worms because all of the things that we fucked up in the past? Or do you think it's possibly because he thinks we didn't fuck anything up anyway?
Or maybe I mean, I don't know who he is, but maybe he's an old white man and has no perception of anything being fucked up at any time because it's always been great for him.
Right. Right. Yeah, so just generally I think this is an interesting sort of issue and I want to see how it plays out. Today's 2-minute book recommendation is You Were Born for This by Chani Nichols. I'm going to read a blurb from the Amazon summary. Your weekly horoscope is merely one crumb of astrology's cake. In her first book, You Were Born for This, Chani shows how your birth chart, a snapshot of the sky at the moment you took your first breath, reveals your unique talents, challenges, and opportunities. Fortified with this knowledge, you can live out the life you were born to. Marrying the historic traditions of astrology with the modern approach, You Were Born for This explains the key components of your birth chart in an easy to use, choose your own adventure style. With journal prompts, reflection questions, and affirmations personal to your astrological makeup, this book guides you along the path your chart has laid out for you. Chani makes the wisdom of your birth chart accessible with 3 foundational keys. The first key, your sun or life's purpose. The second key, your moon, your physical and emotional needs. And the third key, your ascendant and its ruler, your motivation for life, and the steer person of your ship. So, why should you read it? If you're looking for a better understanding of astrology, specifically your birth chart and your 3 most important signs, this book is really great for that. It gives you a really good basic understanding of yourself and those you're closest to through an astrological lens. As an added recommendation, you can check out the Chani Astrology app too. It's free for the basic version, which gives you a daily horoscope and the information on your birth chart in a more condensed, concise, and understandable way. There is an option for a monthly or yearly subscription if you want to get into like your transits and access to maybe more guided meditations and stuff. There's some cool features if you want to pay, but the free version is really great too. I use the free version. You can also check out the Chani website. It's chaninicholas.com. So today's main segment, we are going to talk about our personal astrology charts and just kind of how we line up with the things that our chart says. I'm going to preface this with a couple of things. First, I'm going to say I am just now getting into astrology. I'm more of a tarot girly, and that's kind of where my study lies. But I've been recently getting into astrology a lot more. And Sage, you're not really super into astrology either, right?
No, not really.
So, this is kind of just to look at our charts and see how accurately things describe us, how our chosen career path kind of aligns with our chart. just beyond that basic, I'm a Virgo and you're a Leo. Getting into the moon and rising sign.
Leos rule.
Leo's like attention, so interesting. Um
Yep, they're the best. They're the best.
and so I think that it's, we're having just kind of we're picking apart our own personal charts. So hopefully that's something that you find interesting and, makes you want to look into yourself a little bit more.
You could definitely do your own. We actually, for this segment, are using the Chani app to review our charts. So that's something that you could do as well. Download the app. You just have to know the time and place you were born. And boom, there it is.
Yes. Yep, absolutely. We are also using a couple of different things. So I have The Stars Within You, A Modern Guide to Astrology by Juliana McCarthy, which I highly recommend. It's really great. As well as Chani Nicholas's book, You Were Born for This: Astrology for Radical Self-Acceptance. So I have all those things kind of at hand, and we'll be looking into our signs and stuff with those kind of resources. So first up, I think we should play a little game. I think that it would be really cool to kind of have each other guess.
The stereotypes.
Yeah, so we're gonna have each other guess the stereotypes. So we each took 6 signs, and let's see what we come up with. Sage, you want to go first?
Sure. Let's see. So I'm going to tell you the stereotypical attributes, and you're going to tell me the sign.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so usually these people are emotional, they're irresponsible, quiet. They're usually a good friend if you need to be consoled.
What are my options?
Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo.
And then say the things again. Sorry, I'm the worst.
So they're usually emotional, they're irresponsible, they're relatively quiet, not really like a people person, but good friends if you need someone to, like, you're having an emotional moment, you need a shoulder to cry on, they're good with that.
Well, I feel like they're water sign because you said emotional.
Mhm.
So I want to say Cancer, but like I'm Cancer rising, Cancer moon, and I don't feel like I'm anti people, but maybe. Let's say Cancer.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So your choices are Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, or Pisces.
Like all the ones I don't
And
know about. Like
that's fair.
okay.
Okay. So we're going to say, and this is a horribly mean stereotype, I'll preface with that. I'm going to
Okay.
say weird and antisocial.
Oh.
So Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, or Pisces.
I want to say Pisces, but tell me it again.
Weird and antisocial. And it is a, do you want to know what kind of sign, or kind, like what uh element it is?
I would say water.
It is
But
water.
okay.
Very good.
Um
So that narrows it down to 2.
I guess we'll say Scorpio because I would think like Pisces is more artistic and stuff.
Oh no, wait. It's an
What?
air sign. It's an air sign.
What?
I lied to you.
I don't know. I have no idea. You've thrown me all the way off. I don't know. Libra.
Mm-mm. It's Aquarius.
Wait.
They're known to be like really weird and far out there and have like a lot of strange beliefs, I guess.
Interesting. Okay. Now, here this will be an easy one for you. So again, your options are Virgo, Leo, Cancer, we already said Gemini, Taurus, and Aries. Okay. So these people are generally called hard-headed and stubborn, but they're reliable.
Taurus.
Yeah, the hard head bull-headed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's them.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have intense and holds a grudge. So your options are Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Pisces.
So I think I'm stuck between Libra and Capricorn.
Nope.
Neither one?
Neither one.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. So this is a water sign,
And I know one of them?
mysterious. I don't think any of the things that I'm saying. Well, holds a grudge. Yeah. Well, intense. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Never mind.
Scorpio? I don't know.
Yeah. Matt's a Scorpio.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I was like, I don't even know one. Like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about? So, next up for you, again, you have Virgo, Leo, Aries, Gemini. So, this one is analytical, fussy about the details, perfectionist.
Virgo. And all those things. Absolutely. I am a Virgo. I am 100% all of those things. Okay. Cool. Yes, she is. All right. Okay. So then you have left Libra, Capricorn, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Indecisive people pleasers.
Ooh, hold on. Okay, indecisive people pleasers. Ooh. Okay, so I don't think it's Sagittarius.
It's not. Nope.
I don't think it's Capricorn, but it might be.
Nope.
I don't believe it's Pisces. I think it's Libra because you would think the scales, but they have trouble with making decision.
Yes. Yep. That is 100% correct.
Whoop whoop.
Good job.
Uh, thanks. Okay, so we have Aries, Gemini, Leo left, I guess, just
Mm-hmm.
those three.
Yep.
Okay, I would say I think I have the wording right on this. Is it Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
Yes.
Flip flopping.
Gemini.
Yeah, they're also charming, sociable, and the worst.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah,
You have left Pisces, Capricorn, and Sagittarius. Unpredictable and can't commit.
Sagittarius.
Yep. All right, my turn.
Loud, center of attention, bossy, loyal, excessive, dramatic. That's it.
Sage. Leo. Leo.
Leo. Yep, I'm a Leo. I'm the worst.
Oh, that's true. Okay. All right. Um Boring workaholics.
Capricorn.
Yep. Yep. Capricorn.
And then what did you have for Pisces?
Delusional and in their own world.
Yeah, I could see that. And then I had for Aries, no emotions and not into people.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, that was fun. Okay, so let's talk about ourselves. So let's talk about our sun, moon, and rising signs and if they feel like they describe ourselves and, each other because we know each other obviously very well. First, let's talk about my sun sign. So I am obviously a Virgo. Attributes of the Virgo are organized, logical, health oriented, devoted, humble, perfectionistic. My interests
Mm-hmm.
my interests are caring for animals, editing, writing, organizing, and nutrition. And then my drive is to serve others. So, first of all, let me just say, yes, I love to be organized, but not in the way of like everything in my house is like all organized all the time, but in the way of like logical organization. So I make crazy amounts of lists. Everything is detailed, everything has an itinerary, there's always a plan. That's kind of where the logic also comes in. I would definitely say that I am devoted, but that doesn't always mean that I see everything through. I am devoted to people, things, and ideals that I love, but I'm less devoted to finishing projects. um, I am a perfectionist, and that comes in when I am doing something. If it is not right or I feel like it's not going to end up correct, I will throw it away. I would say yes. I think I'm humble, but I don't know if that's like low self confidence or what. But health oriented, I would not ascribe that characteristic to me at all. Definitely think, interests. I have a dog and he is like the center of my world. So caring for animals, yes. I love editing. I adore writing. And again, organizing, yes. Yes, sign me up. I love to plan an event. I love to organize a list of stuff all the time. That is 100% what I love to do. And then as far as my drive, like to serve others, I think that is like I would say instead of serve, I would say help. I really like to make sure that like if I can offer help or anything to anybody else that I do that. Um so yeah, I mean I think generally I am a Virgo and it is very apparent. What do you think? Coming from somebody who just went on vacation with me.
It is very apparent.
Yes, yes, I think so too.
Okay, so my sun in Leo, it says my attributes are warm, loyal, proud, dramatic, radiant, and fierce. My interests: performing, sunbathing, cuddling, fundraising, and playing. My drive is to impress. I don't know that all these are me. I wouldn't say my drive is to impress. I'm never in the sun, but maybe it's just like, everyone, all eyes on me kind of thing. I don't know, I definitely hate to be ignored. Like, that is the
Mhm.
thing that I could murder someone for. Cuddling and playing, I mean, I guess that sounds fine. I don't know.
I mean, I think I see a lot of you in the attributes. Like I definitely think that you're like very fierce. Like when you're pissed, it's scary. I think that you can be dramatic. I think that you're very loyal. You're very proud, but not in the like shitty way where it's like you're full of yourself, but you're very proud of like the things that you've accomplished and like who you are as a person. And I think that is it I don't want to say like you show that off, but like you what's the word? Like portray or project that. Yeah, that's the word. Like you project the pride that you have in yourself and like the things that you've accomplished.
And I could sum it up just like, I don't know, when I hear that though, I don't think of something bad. Like, to me, it's like an example could be like we were talking about our grandma a little bit ago about how she couldn't vote, back in the day. But you think back then, like, so she was around before a woman could vote, and she only went to school for a year, and she couldn't really read. And to be coming from that just a couple generations back to now, I mean, though I'm in massive amounts of student debt, but that's another conversation. But to be able to go to school and have a degree and own my own things, like, in that way I feel proud, but as a in a way of like, look how far we've come kind of thing. So one more thing I would add on that would be like you said, it's like proud but not in a prideful way. Historically with our grandmother and so forth, like going through not having things or not being able to have certain opportunities, to me having more opportunities and just even having the ability for higher learning, like those things are not lost on me. So I mean, and that's the way that I feel proud, but not like in a prideful way. But like my interests, I don't know that those 100% line up with me, but some, maybe to a degree.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like some yeah, some of mine do, but not all of them for sure. But I think that it's important to remember how our whole makeup is not just the one sun
Just
sign.
your sun sign.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I
so
think
we've got other ones to go through.
right, and I think that because the sun sign is so kind of prevalent in mass market astrology, that that's all we hear about. But that's definitely not all of who we are, for sure. So, yeah. So, next up, we're going to talk about our moon signs. So, these are kind of the things that dictate our emotions and moods and feelings. So, my moon is Cancer. So, my emotional nature is nurturing, deep, sensitive, and moody. And my sources of contentment are alone time, cooking, being home, and connecting with close friends. So, what I'll say is yes, I think the emotional nature has me kind of spot on. I love to nurture. Um I'm really deep. I think I'm pretty sensitive and I'm moody. Um for sources of contentment, alone time. So I am a pretty extroverted person, but I think I'm kind of an ambivert. But because when I'm out, I'm very extroverted, but I can only handle that for a certain amount of time. And then I have to be alone to like recharge and be able to be out and loud and like the kind of extrovert that I am when I'm in public. It's hard for me to have like a lot of time where I'm not having time by myself. Like I went to on kind of like a girls trip with a couple of friends, and it was really important for me to like get up kind of early so I could sit by myself and just kind of like be alone for a little while, just cuz that kind of like I need that to recharge. And then as far as like I love being home. I am definitely a hermit in the truest sense. I could never leave my house if I didn't have to. And obviously, I love to connect with my close friends, but I hate cooking. Like, okay, that's not even true. I love cooking, but I hate cleaning and all the shit that comes with that. I'd rather just get takeout.
I think all of your moon sources of contentment are mine. Like those are me.
Yeah.
But not me because mine says Capricorn. So I am, it says emotional, nature, conservative, virtuous, serious, reserved, sources of contentment, music, family, comedy, networking. Meh. I don't know that my emotional I don't know that my emotional nature is conservative and reserved, but I don't know. Interesting.
I think that is interesting. I'm wondering what it looks like. Like this is like I said, this is from The Stars Within You by Juliana McCarthy. So I'm interested to see if like it's different. Let's look at the Chani app and see like how it describes your moon. So it says here, the moon creates safety and security through accomplishing tasks, climbing to new heights, and proving itself responsible, reliable, and a productive member of society. Capricorn moons do their due diligence before they do self care, but like any other placement, they can learn otherwise. So basically, like you like nurture versus nature or whatever. As a way of establishing security in life, moons and Capricorns work harder than expected, putting in consistent effort until they feel depleted, though their stamina may be legendary. Extremely self reliant, Capricorn moons feel safe when in control of their situation. Austere and diligent, the Saturn ruled sign can use self denial as a coping mechanism, and in some cases, a way to care for themselves. You may go without in order to feel good. Restraint may be rewarding, but must be balanced with a keen understanding of what you need to give yourself. You might struggle to find connections that feel easy. A sense of lack can permeate, especially early in life. Emotional and physical comforts might feel unsatisfying or be missing completely. Because the moon rules the physical self, you may have a hard time in your body, connecting to your body or nourishing it. Boundaries are important. You might have had a parent or caregiver who was too burdened with responsibility or tradition to be able to care for you. The work of a Capricorn moon is to understand where malnourishment occurred so that there can be a repair of harm. Whether you have had parents or caregivers who were responsible, reliable, and accomplished, or too out of touch with their own emotional life to recognize yours, you need to learn to replace constraint with comfort, whatever that means for you. This feels a lot more like you. Yeah, I think this is definitely much closer and more closely
Yeah.
aligned to you. The rising or ascendant sign is the energy that you project out into the world. So mine is actually also Cancer. So my first impression that I give to people is that I'm maternal, nurturing, emotional, and sensitive. And I feel like that's pretty accurate. Like I have a lot of empathy, and I think that people can sense that about me. And I also feel very deeply about a lot of things. I think maybe because I have two of those big signs are in Cancer, and I'm very honest, and I don't want to say I raw, I guess, like really I put that out there.
Vulnerable.
Vulnerable, sure. And I am intentional in just like being showing my feelings and things. So I do think that this to me makes a lot of sense, and like having all that Cancer and water energy just in my top, main three signs really influences how I am in life.
So my rising is Sagittarius, and the first impressions that I give out are cheerful, optimistic, inspiring, and restless.
Oh, I think that's definitely accurate for you.
I think that's accurate.
Thinking about like how you present yourself when you're in class or meeting people at your job for the first time, I think that's definitely how people see you.
Cheerful and restless.
Mm-hmm. Ready to take on the world.
So then, what would you say about the other one? So everyone's chart even goes further than these top three to go more into the planets and where you align.
In the houses that your planets fall in. Houses are signs that your planets fall in. Yeah, I definitely think that, if you have the information that where you were born and what time, that it would be really great to just go on. You can go on any free site and look it up. And I mean, it's crazy to read about some of these things that like line up so well with who you are as a person and how you present yourself in the world and the things that you're trying to accomplish in your life. And just, I didn't get into astrology, like I said, until just recently, but like just pulling up my birth chart and reading all of this stuff and like just being like, holy shit, that is so me. I mean, it's just really interesting, and it can also help you kind of moving forward and navigating life.
And the different, I don't know if you have any further clarification on this, but the different, like, the further you go out in the planets, it has more of a maybe generational
Mhm.
effect. Like, some of them further out apply to people like for years. So maybe like generationally, like maybe your generation has this sort of presence. I don't know what the word is.
Yeah, I mean, like you think about how much slower Neptune is to go around the sun than, say,
Yeah.
Mars
Mercury. Yeah.
or Mercury. Yeah. So when you took your first breath,
You hit that the same as a lot of other people because it moves slower than the quicker ones that have a shorter orbit.
exactly, like you and I are a year apart, and for both of us, Neptune was in Capricorn, even though we're a year apart.
So then they should be the same after that then, right? Pluto and Scorpio,
Yep.
Chiron and
Yep.
Gemini.
Because those larger ones, those move so much slower, so they're still in the same section of the sky between vast amounts of years. So, yeah, definitely those things influence generations as opposed to, Mercury being in a specific sign and a specific house versus, when I was born and when you were born. Yeah, just kind of taking an in-depth look into those things. And I do also recommend, I know this is not part of our book time, but there is a book by Yasmin Boland called Astrology Made Easy. And it is really cool because it really helps to sort of dissect more of the different parts of your birth chart and like what each of the things can mean. Houses especially, because I find houses to be really interesting because they all have different meanings. So the ninth house is travel and education, and astrology, philosophy, publishing, that kind of thing. And like the 12th house is hidden life secrets, sorrow, loss, death. So like each of those different houses are influenced by the signs that are in them.
So, what would you say? Now so we each have our own specific charts, fully. That's a lot to go through. I would just encourage people, yeah, as you said, to go on any free site and see what theirs is, see how it lines up with how you or other people around you perceive that, if those line up with how you feel you actually are. And there were some career paths that were listed that seem to be like listed for our signs. If you want to go through yours, see if you feel like you line up with your actuality.
So I did a little bit of a like kind of an internet search to see what they said for each of our birth times, what would be good or suggested career paths. And it's funny because some of them I absolutely can like see myself doing those things or being those things, but but others I'm like absolutely not. For mine, I got psychologist, psychiatrist, healer, professor, mathematician, astrologer, accountant, auditor, bookkeeper, author, or TV, radio, internet personality. It also said difficult to have only one job at a time. So, what I will say is that last statement is 100% accurate because not only do I have a day job as a paralegal, but I also have like a side hustle as a tarot reader, and we are doing this podcast together. So I definitely have an issue with having just one thing to focus on at a time. But I love psychology, so I think psychology and psychologist and psychiatrist would be great. Healer, yes and no. I have no desire to do anything that involves blood, but I will say like I think that I view the tarot as something that can help heal people because I use it a lot in the self-help way. So I think in that sense, yes, I would love to be a professor because I think teaching is really cool. I don't have that shyness that a lot of people have to get over when they teach. I don't mind getting in front of a room and talking forever. Mathematician, accountant, auditor, bookkeeper, absolutely not. I hate math. I hate math. Astrologer would be interesting. Author, I would love to write a book. I love writing. And then TV, radio, internet. Obviously, here I am on a podcast. So I guess, yeah. How about you? How about you, Sage?
Okay, so I've got careers that line up with my chart as surgeon, firefighter, professional athlete, dentist, mechanic, soldier, rescue worker, security guard, scientist, engineer, or office manager. And I mean, I'm a nurse, so I guess you could put that in there. I feel like some of this goes with it. Like surgeon, sure, firefighter, I guess. Professional athlete, probably not. I don't have very much of a athletic body type. Dentist, probably not. Mechanic, I wouldn't mind. Soldier, no. I am not for authority and people yelling at me and telling me what to do. So they got that one wrong. Rescue worker, yes. Security guard, I guess. But like frankly, I feel like that kind of goes along with soldier, like, police officer or something. Like I'm not down for putting my life on the line for people that don't care about me. Scientist, engineer, like okay. Office manager, I guess. Like if I wasn't so, on the health side of things and sciency, like that's stuff I like. So if I wasn't that, I mean, I guess office managers sounds all right. I guess to kind of tie everything up and kind of relate it back to witchiness, what do you think about our charts and like astrology and things, like how to make them mesh up? I think that it's all about like the energies and getting the energies of where things are at certain points in the sky. Like that's what you're trying to draw down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, well, first of all, I work a lot with the moon in my practice, both my tarot practice and my witchcraft practice. But in addition to that, like, I think that, we can use astrology to help us figure out when favorable times are to cast certain types of spells. So, like, if we want to work with like love energy, then we look at Venus and Venus's placement in the sky. And then also can help us to figure out when to avoid doing certain kinds of spell work, because say like Mercury's in retrograde, it can like kind of throw off the energy that we're trying to work with or bring in, and like significant astrological events can also help with like making the energies that you're drawing in and working with stronger. So I think like those kinds of things are important when you're looking at doing magic and bringing certain energies and working with certain energies or avoiding certain energies.
Yeah, I can see that. I agree with that. Except, I mean, I guess I would preface it too to be like, if you feel to do something, you don't have to necessarily wait. I'm on both sides. I'm like, the energies are still, even if they line up or not.
I agree with that too.
If you get it like amplified, or maybe maybe you need that extra boost in whatever you're doing to kind of like amplify the energy and push it out.
I agree with that. Like, I think that, if you need to do a money spell, or something, you don't have to wait for a certain day of the week, a certain time of the day, or a certain planet alignment, or anything like that. If you need that money spell to happen so that something that you want can manifest or can come into existence, like, you just do it. For me, I think that magic and spell work is here to help you, and as a witch you can tap into that power and you can utilize it whenever you need it. But I think, like you said, if you want to like get an extra boost or like maybe make something more significant, so you're waiting for a certain planet's alignment or a certain like planet to go direct, or you want to use like incorporate a color, a certain type of crystal, certain day of the week, whatever, then do it. But I think, kind of like you said too, that if you need it, if you want something, if you feel like it's time to do something, you don't have to wait.
Welcome to the Crystal Corner with your curator, Sage. Today we're talking about desert rose. So, this could technically be, it's in the same family as selenite in the gypsum mineral family. Some examples of desert rose also have another mineral, barite, with them, which would increase the hardness on the Mohs scale. So anybody who's interested in knowing the Mohs, it would be about a 2 to 2.5 for hardness. So it's pretty soft on the scale. You want to kind of take care of this one a little bit because it can flake off or fracture. So for desert rose, if you look at them, it kind of has like little rosette shapes with the gypsum, and usually it's got sand in there that kind of gives it like that brownish sort of color. If the area where it's at has iron in it, it may look a little rusty. Usually you would find desert rose in a desert area, dry, like desert arid conditions, where maybe previously there was water that has since evaporated. There is a large area of desert rose in Oklahoma and also in the Sahara Desert. Okay, desert rose is useful for mental focus. It's useful for relaxation, connecting with inner consciousness. It's good for meditation as well because it is still part of the same family with selenite. And this is one that you don't necessarily want to put in water because it is so fragile. I would suggest, if you are trying to cleanse it using some other method that is not water, maybe like sound, incense, something along those lines. I wouldn't put it in water. Desert rose is also about new beginnings, helping you get back on your path, strength, resilience. This has been your curator, Sage, with the Crystal Corner. Thank you.
For the tarot reading for the collective for today, we're going to be using the Wandering Star Tarot. And we're going to ask the same 3 questions that we always ask. How can we best show up as our authentic selves in the coming weeks? Where can we best direct our energy? And what do we need to create space for? So for the first question, I asked, how can we show up as our authentic selves? And I drew the 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles is all about your accomplishments and the things that you've achieved to get to the level of comfort that you are in your life. And in the next couple of weeks, to be authentic, you need to take some time and just kind of feel at home in and proud of the things that you have done to get to where you are. Proud and happy and grateful for the prosperity that you have in your life and the feeling of security and stability that you have. And while you're doing that, you can best direct your energy to the 6 of Swords. So, the 6 of Swords is all about moving on from the past and kind of seeing what's out there in the future, moving on to bigger and better things, leaving the past in the past and moving forward in our lives. So, your energy can be best directed in working towards letting go of the things that don't serve you and looking for, this card has this cute little eye on the front of the boat. And for me, it looks like a telescope or something of that nature. And like it's looking towards the future. It's looking to see where we're going next and what is in store for our lives. And that is where we can best direct our energy. We can look towards the future, towards the things that are coming for us. So the 9 of Pentacles, we can be our authentic selves by saying, look, I am so grateful for all the things that I have, for this comfort that I have in my life, this abundance that my life has in it. But at this point, it's time to move forward. It's time to see what else is coming, what else is out there. And then finally, what do we need to create space for in the coming weeks? And for this, I drew the 3 of Swords. Maybe some disappointment is happening in the next few weeks. And unfortunately, sadness and disappointment and grief, those things are part of the human condition. They're part of our lives. And we can't just ignore them. We can't put them away. We have to create the space and feel our feelings, so to speak. We have to really feel those emotions and we have to hold space for ourselves. We have to give ourselves compassion and understanding. And it may be that we are experiencing that disappointment, but we have to allow ourselves to feel the sadness that comes along with that and the sadness that we have to go through.
Thanks for listening to the Cousin Coven podcast, available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Check out future episodes to conjure up conversation and weave witchcraft into your day.
Find us online at thecousincoven.com.
You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at The Cousin Coven Podcast.
Love yourself and love each other.
Blessed be.